Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Over the Hump. Today is a Varsity Council episode where we're going to be interviewing past members of Varsity Council.
This is a good episode to watch for people wanting to apply to Varsity Council and see what it's all about. So our first question to Josh and Megan is, when and how long were you guys in Varsity Council?
Megan, do you want to start?
Sure. Okay, so I applied in my sophomore year and I got in and I pretty much was there all throughout the rest of high school. So 3 years in total for me.
I was there from freshman year to senior year. So I was one of the lucky four-year members.
So what did it mean to you guys to be part of the Varsity Council?
I guess at least personally, being part of the Varsity Council, it was a huge it was a really meaningful experience for me. Because being part of the council meant that you were able to help out with all these different events and activities. But on a lot of the events, the nature of the event is that its purpose is to bring kind of the school together and bring the Brent community together, help build this sense of school spirit. So definitely being a part of that and having a voice and a role, and that was always a great feeling. And I think it was also great because a lot of what VC does, like I said, is brings the community together. And it highlights a lot of what students and teams achieve, both in sports or fine arts. So having that all around involvement really meant a lot.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with all of that. I think it's the idea that you're part of something that's bigger than just yourself. So I think a lot of people, they might join one activity, one club, they may be part of a couple APACs or a couple teams, but when you're in Varsity Council, you actually get to see everyone and everything and how the school comes together just to support one another. And it's nice because you get to meet a lot of different people. If I didn't join Varsity Council, I probably wouldn't have met people that were in APAC basketball, were in the volleyball team, the football team, or maybe the swimming team, or any of the other arts programs, because I was just sort of stuck in my APAC dance bubble. But it was really nice because you sort of see how everyone can come together and work together, sort of promote the school spirit.
What would you say is your biggest accomplishment as a part of VC?
Want me to go first? I'll go first.
You go first.
Okay. I don't know if I'm not gonna pretend boast or anything, but I think my legacy would probably be this one event that I was able to well, not really event, it was an aspect of the Pack the House event that I was able to come up with from idea to the very end of execution full of the members of VC. It was called the VIP Skybox. And what was funny about this was this was a one-time thing only, so it was pretty special. We were able to come up with it, get approval for it. And if you didn't know what that was, basically during Pack the House event, it was in the gym. And if you know the little area which overlooks the gym where the elevator is, we decided to block that off and sell a bunch of raffle tickets. And then there's the Japanese food buffet. And then if you won, you could bring 2 friends and you would hang out there. You could see the game from up there. There's aircon. There's a photo booth and whatnot. Yeah, so that was really, really, really fun because it's sort of you think when you join a council, you have to sort of stick with what they've already been doing, what the advisors sort of tell you what to do. But honestly, if you have an idea and you really want to see it happen, propose it. And you can get it approved by Coach Kathy or the other council members, and then you can sort of see it happen, collaborate with one another. And it was really exciting to see something that we came up with from scratch actually happen on the day of. Yeah, so that was really fun.
Actually, the skybox was one of the things I was thinking about when you asked this question. And I think for me, I don't think I can really point out one main thing, because I think overall, I was really proud of how VC was able to grow during the 4 years that I was a part of it. For sure, it's grown a lot more since that was 3 years ago since Megan and I were last helping out with VC. But I think as the years went by, different VC events started having these big event feels. It felt like such a big event for where the whole school pretty much was involved. And you definitely saw this growth over the years in terms of whether that be in terms of the student or community involvement, or even the type of things you do. What Megan was saying, that was our senior year, right? And when we did the skybox.
I think it was our senior year, yeah.
I think that was our senior year. And for example, I think in 2016 or 2017, we started we changed up the award ceremony. And I think that just speaks to at that point VC was so good at what we were doing, and at what kind of how running events and all that. I think we were able to start looking for ways to mix things up and make it more fun and kind of be more creative. So Megan was saying, the skybox was one of the or the experiments. That was her baby in senior year, and kind of organizing that on top of what we usually do, because at that point kind of we have it down to a science. we kind of know what to expect, so we're able to add more to the experience and make it like better every year. So I think that's what we have. Like I think that's one thing I was proud of, like as part of VC.
Well, Josh, I think your biggest accomplishment was bringing me into VC.
No comment.
Okay, so our next question is, what are some of the memories of VC that you'll never forget? Or are there any funny stories you want to share?
I can start from my general note before we go into like the different stories. I think one of the most, it's not anything specific again, but like VC was just like pure chaos a lot of it. I don't know if it's the same still, but a lot of the time it was like there was just so many different things going on. It was so fun, but also so stressful. It definitely like very rewarding. It's like on like sometimes I think it was like I forgot which event it would be, but it was like house rally on those days. I think we'd have like the volleyball event. I forgot what it's called, Spike Night. So I feel like 2 or 3 other years, like they just happened on the same day. So there was just so many different things, so many moving parts, all on like the same day, and there's so many different things can go wrong. And just like as a council trying to figure out how to sort all of these things out, that was always memorable. That was always fun. At the time, it was obviously very stressful, and like you kind of like just running around half the time. But I think those like moments in particular were very fun and pretty funny. Megan, do you have any specific ones that you can think of?
I do. I have a specific one. This was, so I guess you would think a lot of the funny stories happen behind the scenes, and they do. But to me, what was really funny was during one of the meetings, we were like, how can we shake up the end of the year activities awards? You know, we need to make the tempo a bit faster, so you know people are so excited and cheering on the awardees when they go on, right? And so then, I don't know who it was, might have been Mr. Young, or it was just a collaborative idea. But it was like, hey, what if we made the event slightly like the Olympics, or sort of like, it was very sporty, where we would have like referees for ushers to bring the awardees up to the stage. Because you know, it's a long walk to go up to the stage. So if you had one of the VC members with like a whistle around their neck and like a stopwatch and like ushering people, it was just really funny overall. And then I think for me, something I won't ever forget is basically for that event, we were like, okay, well, how can we sort of set the tone and get them in the mood? I ended up leading a warm-up for the entire upper school to get into before we started the event. So we were all ready. They all thought we were going to start with the first awards, but we were like, no, hey guys, I'm over here, and I'm going to teach you guys a warm-up to get you ready for the event. Let's start rotating our wrists to start get ready for all the classes we're going to do. It was really random because it was sort of like, you wouldn't have ever thought that was going to happen. And just overall, the VC members were just having so much fun at the awards ceremony itself, because it was just like, we were all part of it, we all had a role to play, and it was just really exciting because it was sort of something that came up with to sort of shake it up, and to actually see it, you know, work out in the end, it was really fun.
Yeah, no, it was really funny because actually I did remember, I think I didn't actually do the warm-up. I remember I was holding the microphone for you and I was so happy I didn't have to do those stretches in front of everyone. And you were like on the bouncy ball. That was
on the medicine ball.
Yeah, the medicine ball. And I think, yeah, it was just really cool, like, because everyone is, like, I think before that it was always a formal event. Like we'd all be in like a tie and like the dress shirt. But I think starting from that year, we all just started showing up in like athletic like clothes and like shorts, and I think like that was like one of the funniest things because no one was expecting it. But I think like and I think like for memories, again, I don't really have anything specific because a lot of the memories that actually stuck with me was like just the interactions or like hanging out with VC members or the advisors. So like I remember Megan, we used to have the same like study hall, right? And so we were in Coach Nick's room all the time. But a lot of time we'd like either use that like time to annoy Coach Nick or like bug her or like go out and like do VC work. And by that I mean like we'd go over to Coach Kylan's room and like annoy him instead. So like a lot of the time it's not even like the big things. It's not even during, like Megan was saying, a lot of the time it's not even like an event or like behind the scenes. Sometimes it's just the interactions with people and like getting to know them. And just having those like and navigating all the chaos together. That was I think the most memorable and like funny part. So I think I do remember this. Like, I think it was my freshman year. I think freshman year, the first pep rally I was part of. I remember one of the first events I was part of, I was kind of confused. I didn't really know what was going on. So, but I remember like, I was so stressed because I think it was like 30 minutes. It was like the homeroom before the pep rally. and then one of like the VC members runs in with like the script, and they were like, okay, we need to scrap this and we need to do something. We need to like restart or something like that. I was like, so obviously I was very confused and lost because I already was very like stressed and I didn't know what was going on. But then someone pulls that on you like right before you're supposed to like start. I'm like, is this how the rest of the year is going to be like? And I mean, I was kind of right. That's kind of how the 4 years ended up going. Like, and that's just kind of the nature of what we do in DC. It's just a lot of different moving parts, and just like, again, it's so stressful, but it's also so fun and rewarding. It's like, yeah, navigating those like things with other people, with people in the council.
Okay, so let's move on to our next question. So was there anything you never had the chance to do as a member of the Varsity Council that you wish you could have?
Well, I guess the one thing that we always talked about, remember bonfire night, Megan? We used to talk about that a lot, where they were like, that never happened though. I think that would have been really fun.
Yeah, it was a really cool concept where I think it was supposed at the end of the year you would get anyone that participated in any activity, team or sport or art program, and they would just all get together. I don't know, maybe in the baseball field somewhere. We couldn't actually, there's a lot of things that have to get approved for that to happen. And that's something you will notice, wherein if you are like, you have an idea and you really want it to come true, you have to go through a number of approvals and steps to actually make that happen. But I would say it's worth that. But sadly, that was something we couldn't get done because typically a lot of the events, it gets kind of busy in the second semester, and so we didn't actually have enough manpower time to actually get all the approvals and that happen. But hey, that's a future idea. Maybe you guys could, make it happen.
When we're allowed to be within 6 feet of each other again.
Yeah, that is definitely a requirement.
Is there any advice you would like to give to the next generation of Varsity Council?
I think one of the main things I can think of is even if you don't feel confident, if you are intimidated, just put yourself out there, because I think one of the greatest things about Varsity Council, and I only learned it maybe after my first year, is that everyone's there helping together. So for example, if someone is missing the script or something's going wrong, they'll always have your back. The council's not just gonna leave you behind if you made a small mistake. They're always there for you. So that was really nice. So if you do have an idea, do propose it. Even if you are maybe a little scared, if anything, you could if you have a friend there that's already a veteran there, ask them to promote the idea. But honestly, everyone's there to help out each other and make the school spirit experience a lot better. So honestly, just put yourself out there, have a little faith in your ideas and your concepts, and just go for it, honestly.
I think, I guess I have two things maybe. They're kind of related to what Megan was talking about. I think one is just like I said, it's going to be very stressful, and it's a lot of the times you're going to feel lost to all the moving parts. But I honestly just have fun. Just have fun with it. Embrace kind of the purpose of Varsity Council and embrace kind of the spirit that comes with being part of the council. So like Megan was saying, it's one of the biggest, I think it's the biggest council at Brentwood. And I think a lot of that, that's good because again, you have so many people you can lean on and you interact with so many people. I think just embracing kind of the nature of Varsity Council, because it's kind of, I'd say it's kind of different from traditional student government. Just embracing that and kind of embracing the purpose of bringing the community together and hosting these things to help highlight student achievements and just helping I guess build a sense of community and school spirit. I think just taking that and just again having fun with it, and again kind of similar to what Megan was saying, be ready to embrace different roles, because you won't really sometimes on one event you'll be the MC and you'll be in charge of the script, and then another you'll be in charge of running around getting people to sign up for the fan buses, or you'll be sitting in the corner selling shirts for the whole event, which I don't think anyone was too big of a fan of that role. But I think it comes with the territory though, being part of this huge council with so many moving parts, where you kind of just have to be ready. Once you're committed to Varsity Council, you have to be committed to doing whatever you kind of the council needs of you. So other than that, yeah, just have fun and yeah, you're ready.
I do have one more. And I think you should take the opportunity that you are in a big council, wherein I think when it comes to the academic councils, you're kind of all there, and you're all there for one reason. You're sort of maybe in the same circle. Whereas Varsity Council, everyone's coming from different backgrounds, different grade levels, different activities, different sports. And this is probably one of the smaller opportunities that you would get to actually become friends with all these different people. That was one of the nicest things, wherein you would have friendships from other batches. You would know people from different sports and activities. And just honestly, it was a really good experience to meet people, and just to honestly also to improve your confidence in yourself, because you sort of learn how to get better at things like, for example, improv. If you make a mistake on stage, or if your friend makes a mistake on stage, you know how to help each other. Yeah, I would say take advantage of the opportunity you're given as VC.
Yeah, no, I actually definitely do agree with that. This idea of like, yeah, just using that as also a learning opportunity, because you do learn how to be like a leader. You're able to learn how to like interact with so many different people coming from different backgrounds and different social contexts. And I think that's something people overlook as part of Varsity Council, because again, it seems like a lot of fun, but it's also at the same time, it's still a leadership opportunity, and you should take advantage of that while you can.
Yeah, you guys make so many great points, and Josh, I could have used those advice like tips like in my first year, but first I had to put it on my own.
You never asked.
Never offered. Okay, so last question before we end this interview. What was your biggest takeaway from being a member of Varsity Council?
Well, I mean, like, I guess I can start because it kind of relates to what I just said. Like, personally, like, it really helped me grow into like as a leader and as a person, and just be more confident. Because again, because of the like how involved you are in the community, because again, you're involved in so many different things, like both sports, fine arts, and you're interacting with so many people. That definitely forces you to grow as a person. And even someone who's like me, who was like super introverted coming into like high school, that definitely brought me out of my shell a little bit. Because again, because of the nature of like Varsity Council, because you're just always on the go, and you can't there's really no room to be shy, because again, because a lot of the events are like in public and in front of the community and trying to bring the community together. So you do have to kind of go put yourself out there, and I think that really helped me personally.
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is sort of what I said in the very beginning, is there's more to school life, there's more to spirit life than just yourself. You're like, the school is huge, okay, and it's like all the different things that sort of make up the school body there's just a lot. And it's like, in my opinion, if you didn't go to any of the events, if you didn't join these, you wouldn't have actually like fully understood what that meant. Like, you get to actually see everyone coming together for something that is bigger than themselves. And I guess it's sort of like, for maybe people that were part of like 2 or 3 APEX, they would have a bigger understanding of that. But for me, someone I just did dance for all of high school, I would have only just been sort of like in that bubble. But in VC, sort of, you learn that like you can contribute your skills for the school in so many different ways. Like, for example, like when you actually understand that to help hype the school spirit, and like I think it was Spike Night, the dance troupe would perform, and that was sort of like, we can actually do something other than just like, you know, being in our bubble and just performing for ourselves. Like, we can actually do something. And so being VC, you're running the events, you're conceptualizing new ideas, you're talking to people, not just like students and teachers, you're talking to staff, you're going to activities office, getting to know absolutely everyone. And overall, it's a really, really, really good experience to boost your confidence, get to know a lot more people, and to feel like you can contribute your skills and something to sort of bring the school and the community together.
And I think just to add on that last one, I think because both Maegan and I were there from like, you were there since nursery, is that correct?
Yeah.
And I was there since kindergarten, so we were like we were at Brent our whole lives. So having that towards the end of our experience and being able to give back to the community in our own way, by, you know, organizing these events and bringing kind of the student body and the Brent family together, that was definitely another huge like plus of being in VC, and something I really appreciated, like, and I love being a part of.
Yeah, being a part of VC is a very great experience, a very great learning experience as well for us students, and great way to give back to the Brent community, which has been a very nice community for all of us here and has been very accepting. Okay, so that's it for this interview. So thank you, Josh and Maegan, for coming in today. Thanks you for having us. Stay tuned. Apply for VC and stay clean in quarantine.